In the bottom right-hand corner, the blue Terran player from the Shopify Rebellion. This is ByuN. Taking on the red Zerg in the top left from Kaiser Gaming, we do have Solar. And again, this is the WardiTV Winter Championship winner bracket finals. Top 3 guaranteed for these two. This is a best of 5. And the winner goes to the grand final, where they will sit and wait for the lower bracket to play out. The loser, of course, will join that lower bracket in the lower bracket finals. That will also be a best of 5. So guaranteed at least 2 best of 5s from each of these players today. Which is nice, if not more, if they get to that best of 7 finals, of course. Exciting times. WardiTV Winter Championship, $3,000 event played over the course of 1 weekend. So pretty good going. Not the craziest out there, but definitely not too shabby. This will mark the end of our winter season as well, and the spring season starting up soon. And we might even have a spring event coming up this week ahead of the Cast of Civil War. If I actually get any time to organize things other than the Cast of Civil War, that would be amazing. I just want to take a quick moment to just say, of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, hello, thank you so much for tuning into the YouTube channel, and do consider leaving a like on the video if you do enjoy the games, subscribing to see more in the future if you don't already subscribe, and of course, leave a comment down below. Maybe let me know what you think, let me know what you thought, let me know what's imbalanced. You can balance wine on the YouTube, because I don't have to read every comment, it's nice. Go wild. Alright, so, again, if you just tuned into this as well and you're not sure what's happening in the lower bracket, Clem is waiting for the winner of Alaza and Cure. We would have played out those lower bracket matches back-to-back, but Alaza had a little scheduling issue, so we're going to have this series just interjected, and then we'll have Alaza Cure afterwards, and then the lower bracket winner of that versus Clem, and then lower bracket finals, grand finals. That's how the day plays out. Reaper shows up initially here from ByuN, and we'll start to dance around and look for some damage. He's going to pick away at a couple of those Zerglings. He's going to drop a grenade, and you're going to be seeing it scaring away a little bit. Just going to see our creep team is still taking some damage. The Queens do press forward, and the Reaper gets pushed back a little bit. So Reaper gets chased away. Hatchery going down on the low ground. And obviously just very standard startup here from ByuN. Then back at home, he is going to go non-3CC, going to go for this starport. So we'll just play this kind of more aggressive style on the opening, try and get some damage done and play off of that advantage. We saw Solar early in this bracket played against Clem, and he played very aggressively with a lot of roaches. Not sure if he's going to play the same kind of style here today against ByuN. I'd be surprised if he brought out as many roaches. It was 3 very quick games when he played against Clem. A straight-up roachling all in, a Nidus all in, and then the third game was like a 1-1 roach timing, which won the game on Berlingrad. So, really intrigued as to how he approaches it versus ByuN. Do not think we're going to see roaches every game, although I don't think... I think we could maybe see Berlingrad on... be some roaches once again. Short map, generally Terran favored the longer it goes, so definitely a little bit of a factor there. I was going to see Reapers and Hellions coming back around. A couple of Queens coming through and putting some damage onto the Hellions as they are going to go diving and looking for a mineral line. Well, we're going to see ByuN is going to slip by into the main base, so in we go, and drones for the picking. He's got 3 Hellions, he just needs the lineup, he's not going to get it. Evo chamber blocked, and yeah, now you've got 3 Hellions that are pretty much stuck here. Really sad if you don't get any drones out of this, because your Hellions are obviously a pretty substantial commitment of your map control. Just thrown on in here, expected to do damage. He gets 3 drones all said and done. I mean, it's not terrible, but obviously for 4 Hellions, it's not what you're looking for. You're looking for 5 or 6 workers. Well, Hellions here are going to be in a similar scenario if they try and dive. They do start to back away, but they're already a little bit behind on kind of moving, so Hellions are low HP. Well, good control to make the most of them, but eventually 2 more Hellions die. At least you're getting some Zergling kills out of this, and that is true. He did get Zergling kills before as well. But a lot of the time, again, these Hellions are your map controllers, ByuN, so it really is kind of nice to just keep them up and running if at all possible. So not too big of a fan of the fact that, yeah, they're all basically kind of dying. Not feeling that too much. Things do turn back around into the center. The Viking comes in, going to figure out that Overlord. The Liberator gets blocked by a Spore Crawler. And the Lib going to try and come in the other direction. Going to siege up, and those few drones are going to have to back away. And the Queen is going to dive in there, put some damage on the Lib. And the Lib gets pushed back just slightly as well. Melee upgrades continuing up right now. Got our Overlords, our drones, the Extractor, everything continuing to build. As the Liberator escapes back down to the south, we will see this Orbital Command building up as part of the wall-off. So, again, that wall-off established, and we have the Viking working around the right side, just looking for further OVs. Yeah, I'd say not great start from ByuN. He didn't open very economically. He didn't, get much damage dealt. He got completely destroyed on his early game units, and, well, now he's got a very small Marine squad with a couple Medivacs and a couple Hellions moving across. That's not very scary. So it just feels like nothing has really come to fruition for ByuN so far. It's all been a little bit of it's all been very not really that impressive, When these Marines start diving in, looking for an initial Overlord. Queen taking some damage as well. Lings are going to come, look for that wraparound. Marines will lift up, and we will just evacuate. We got 3 drones in the meantime. I think the Liberator came in again, and it's now dead. Still not really the damage you're looking for, I feel like, as so far, still very happy with how Solar has been played in these early stages. I do just want to take a moment to thank you, Doven Wolf, for the gifted sub to Chileno Singaporean. Thank you so much for gifting out a subby, and appreciate the support. Thank you so very much. Really do appreciate it, mate. Good to see you. There's our Marines and a Hellion. Gonna move through and actually get a couple creep tumors. We've got an Overlord on this right side as well. That gets picked off, and, well, with that Overlord going down, we've got a little bit of Ling Bane continuing to collect together in the middle of the map. The Queens figuring out where they want to go. The Viking, the Marine in the center. Gonna see a couple creep tumors already being picked off. Queens continue to be blasted, and a few Lings getting taken down as well. More Lings continue to run in. The Medivacs just have to lift and back away from this. And we are going to be seeing this other Viking is down over on the far left-hand side. It's just going to be hanging out over there for the moment, as everything else continues to collect on together. Got the Infestation Pit and Hydroden coming in from a Solar. Yeah, obviously, this never turned into the Roaches, which I said it might be. It was just Ling Bane, and now with the Infestation Pit and Hydroden, we start looking towards the Hive Tech, we start looking towards the Lurker play. I don't think there's really too many surprises in that regard. As we drop off, and we're just going to go after the Spore Crawler. The Overlord probably in some trouble. But the units are pretty quick here from Solar as well, so just going to be seeing our units from ByuN lifting up, backing away, and now pushing in over the left-hand side. So in we go. Ling Bane continue to roll on forward here, and actually is going to crash on into this full-on sweeping force from Solar. He's just, honestly, it feels like, even though the supplies are kind of close, I feel like everything ByuN tries to do just gets swatted away as though it's nothing. I mean, it feels like, obviously, a lot of that could have just been, from how this all started. It just feels like, maybe I have no faith in ByuN in this game so far. I mean, he doesn't feel too hot just yet as the units lift up. And ByuN's going to back away through the top side. Even more forces of ByuN settling down in the center. The Lings run in, Marines lift. It's going to see the army of ByuN going to run around to the far left-hand side, going to push up left as well, as we will siege a tank, siege another. Coming through, just going to get a couple of Queens pushed back. Creep spread is going to get denied. A lot of this creep continuing to fall, and just going to be seeing the Medivacs back down the right side again. And Marines and our tanks pressing through the Medivacs, setting up as well. And just going to be seeing our Hive, Lurker Den, etc. Everything continuing to build. 2-2 upgrades continue out on the engineering bays. 2-2 actually comes in from Solar as well, so everyone is getting to 2-2. No problems there. And really, honestly, across the board, it's pretty even. It just feels like everything ByuN's tried to do has not gone well, and it feels like the longer this game goes on, the more problematic that should become. These Marines continue to stem forward, going to grab a few more Queens. A couple of Banes get picked off. Creep spread still trying to push through. Creep teamers will be finishing, and the Marines and Mines continue to build out on the right side. Overlords spreading out, providing a lot of vision at the moment as well. If one of those Widow Mines just gets to go off, that'd be amazing, but obviously not getting the chance. Ling Bane continue to flip through. There we go. A 24-kill Widow Mine. Gonna slow Solar down a bit, and ByuN's on the counterattack. Gonna find a base to the left-hand side here. Coming straight through, a lot of links. Can we actually get the base? Awesome drones. It feels like, again, he has been struggling to find the economic damage. He's gonna transfuse the hatchery. I guess targeted down in the end anyway. That one Baneling is actually gonna go all the way around and hit the small cluster of 1 or 2 Marines. Not ideal. Now ByuN feels like he's got a bit of a chance, a bit of momentum. Moving forward, get some creep, get some Banelings. Finally, it feels like ByuN is getting something done. Yeah, nice little counter finally from ByuN. Like I say, it just felt like he needed a burst of energy, and he finally got it. It finally kind of played, all played out for him there. As these Lings just continue through, they're going to get denied, and just going to be seeing the rest of the Bioforce continuing in. Tank gets picked off, and just going to be seeing ByuN still making his way around the left a little bit. Burrow starting on the natural hatchery. The +1 missiles and +3 carapace coming up as well. ByuN's back on the left. He's going to get rid of this hatch once more. He's got to be careful because there are some setups that could hurt him a lot. There's the Nidus that's on the way down, for example. That could be very problematic as his Widow Mine doesn't know what it's going to go off on. In the end, it gets an okay shot. There's the Nidus coming down, and Seismic Spines is about to be done, so we really are on the verge of getting to Lurkers here, and obviously that is going to be a pretty big factor. As ByuN does deny the topside base as well. Man, he is all over the place. So ByuN is partying right now. All over the map, playing pretty freaking well. Now we're going to jump into this couple medevacs and go towards the top side here. We will begin to unload into this main. A lot of Marines in the corner will begin to fight. There's a parasitic bomb going off on the medevac. Obviously that guarantees it's going to fall low on HP. It doesn't guarantee the kill unless it's already damaged. Like, for example, if this medevac took a parasitic bomb right now, it would be guaranteed dead, so then you've got no choice but to dive in with it. That's actually something that could possibly happen, so... Yeah, I mean, this does get cleaned up in the end, and ByuN does get stopped, but it's been a good few moments for ByuN's aggression. I mean, it finally felt like I say he got something done, he finally made some progress. It finally got underway for him, compared to what it was before. It's just going to be seeing the Bioforce still collecting together in the center. Solar, though, I mean, he's entering a whole new phase of the game with the Lurkers coming onto the map. He's going to have some good chances to be aggressive, to get pushing. See what happens. A couple Widow Mines will unburrow and relocate a little bit. The Nidus about to pop up over on this side, and the Lurkers can start to pour out. ByuN hears the Nidus. At least it's not in his main base. That's the most worrying position for it to be in. As Hatch moves forward, ByuN sees it. Where are we going, ByuN? Hello? I mean, get rid of the Nidus, right? But, like, just not... I mean, there, it could have been dangerous. If he runs his army up here and the Lurkers pop out the Nidus for the flank, then you're in trouble. This command center will see the next Nidus, so he continues to see at least where his opponent is trying to strike. That's good news, of course, because then you have a rough idea of where to position your units, so you've obviously got to stay active around the map. He is starting to split his army a little bit as well, so trying to kind of split pressure himself. Couple of snipes actually get Solar into a supply block as he sees this force over here. Well, he's got the medevac to just lift up and evacuate this if he needs to. Widow Mine's burrowing, and yeah, Widow Mine's going to get some crazy shots off. Oh my goodness. ByuN basically didn't even need to lift. 32 kills across these two mines, and there was at least one more, I believe, which got a pretty major connection. And Solar just got bodied by those Widow Mines. That was brutal. More Bio going to stim up the left, just going to go through a bunch of creep will start to be denied. The Queen of already in some trouble as well. The Lurkers trying to push forward. We get rid of one, we get rid of two, we get rid of the Queen. Yeah, good denials on the left as the medevacs pull back down to the south. Again, just, it really feels like ByuN hit a brick wall, hit another brick wall, just repeatedly so far. But then, 3 or 4 minutes ago when he broke through that base, finally he broke through, finally he was able to start dealing damage. That said, it's not over yet. Solar's still maxed out, as is ByuN. ByuN's got a good amount of CCs up. He's well set for the later game. This guy could be problematic, though, as these Lurkers start to burrow. ByuN's not fully in position with his army, and Nidus in the natural. He's got a couple of Marines on that. We'll see if that gets dealt with effectively enough, as we are going to start sniping down a few of these Lurkers from afar. This planetary fortress is going to continue up. As a few ghosts in the front are going to get hit by Baneling's low HP. Gun supply dropping quite heavily here as he continues to fight back. A couple more snipes potentially. This knight just got up. Oh man, the lurkers in the natural are going to be brutal. SCV's already going down. ByuN now being pushed around everywhere, and it's all falling apart. Oh, so suddenly this knight was actually a big deal because it just means you can't reinforce out your natural comfortably. And yeah, these lurkers are just forced in a fight that ByuN didn't really want to take. He's not sniping effectively either, and Solar's obviously still pushing through over here. Wow, you know, it felt like this was Solar, and ByuN really, honestly, was my favorite for the last couple minutes. But Solar just comes through. This one big push was obviously very effective, very kind of just game deciding. And Solar is going to end up taking game number 1, and of course, always scary to lose your map pick as the Terran player as well, right? You're going to lose your map pick here. That means you've got to play on a Zerg map next to try and take Solar down. That's not going to be easily done either. Definitely a tall order ahead of ByuN, but like I say, he played a great game after the first 8 minutes or so. It's just, if you're going to play a great game in TvZ, it needs to start earlier than that. You need to get going before the Zerg gets as, as set up as Solar did. Let's see what happens. Game 2 coming up. Had to change the schedule a little bit, so we do now have a best of 5 and amongst the best of 3s, but that's okay. I'm sure you guys will understand it if I just say it enough. As in the bottom left-hand side, the Shopify Rebellion player. He is the Blue Terran. He is ByuN. Top right, we are going to see the Red Zerg from TvZ Gaming. This is Solar. Setting ourselves into map number 2. I'm going to be seeing the barracks setting up in the main base. And we're just going to be seeing our overlords, like I say, spread now. Nothing crazy. So I'll just try and check off to the sides. Obviously, this is potential to be proxy racks on a map like this. This is a Zerg map typically, so you want to make sure you're not potentially going to die to something that's just designed to kind of kill a Zerg nice and early, which is the 2 or 3 racks proxy, obviously. Just trying to work around that as best as possible. And our Reaper's about halfway done. A couple of drones coming out. And we just got an SCV scout from ByuN. He's also just going to play it a little bit safe in these early stages. Get across to the other side. Try and pick up a little bit of info. And, yeah, see what will happen next. Obviously, mostly looking for the hatchery first. With the hatchery first, you know that you're not in trouble of, like, a super fast roach rush. You know, basically anything that happens, your Reaper is going to be able to scout. So, well, yeah, he does have a Reaper. I just saw a Marine on the West, like, double check. Yep, it is a Reaper. So, yeah, his Reaper will be able to see anything that Solar's committing to. There's not going to be any, for example, lings across the map to pull this Reaper back or anything. So he's very happy just to see the hatchery first. Like I say, that's exactly what you're looking for initially. And now you will try to dance the dance with the lings and the drones and see if you can do any damage. Obviously, a map with no ramp up into the natural, there's always that potential to deny the first creep tumor as well. If you can stop that going down, you can slow the Zerg's presence on the map a little bit as well, which is always a nice added bonus. Does have to step back just a little bit. Get it back and forth. Ling speed still coming through, as mentioned before. And a couple of drones continuing to build up on the side of Solar. So all of that coming out. Queen on the way on the hatchery. Aliens on the way on the reactor. And the starport is about halfway done. Again, just to reiterate what's on the line, top 3 are guaranteed a share of the $3,000 prize pool in the following setup. I actually thought I had this open on my other screen, but I did not, so you're going to have to give me 1 second for the page to load just to confirm I don't say anything wrong. Guaranteed $350, even if you lose this series and lose in the lower bracket. If you win this, you're guaranteed $600 for second place, but of course you're going to be in the grand finals with a 1-0 lead with a chance to play for the $1,000 first place prize. $3,000 overall across the tournament. A lot of money overall for grabs. That's the split that's going. And obviously, if you win this, like I say, you start in the grand finals, and starting in that grand finals as that natural bonus, that natural boost of just being able to go up 1-0 and not have to fight your way through the lower bracket. So also a little bit of a bonus there as well. Definitely worth winning the the winner bracket final, guys. Put it that way. definitely, if you get a choice, win the Winter Bracket Final or lose it, I'll pick winning it. Hellions will gather in the top side, the Reaper alongside them, and Marines will come with the medevac, and there's going to be the start of a push into this upper right corner. A couple creep tumors might be in some trouble initially, and that Queen will start to take some damage. Hellions will morph into Hellbats, and we just get rid of a couple of creep tumors already, so just picking that off and moving through. And this Queen's starting to kite backwards, the Lings coming in as well, and just going to be seeing the Hellbats continuing to wrap around or get wrapped around by these Lings. We are going to get rid of a Queen there. We're going to get rid of the rest of these Lings. I mean, not a bad start. I feel like he did not get rid of a Queen. He got rid of one Queen. I feel like there was other Queens that were just seconds away from dying, and they just never did. That's always the frustration of Queens in these Hellbat attacks, though, right? They're so close to going down, and then they just, they just don't. As the control of the Zerg come into fruition, as we do have a little Hellion run by, or Hellbat run by now on the third, but this isn't really doing much else either. It's a 10 worker difference. Resources lost is fairly even. Not the end of the world from ByuN. I feel like he would have liked to maybe get a drone or two extra. He's still trying with this medevac, but now that medevac dies, then it really isn't going to be equal resources lost anymore. It was already trending a bit towards Solar's favor, and now it's a 400 difference. So I liked it a lot more until those final couple units went down. Specifically, the medevac is really nice to keep alive, and if you just have a couple extra Hellions, it's nice, because you can see he's switching into Bio. Well, because he's lost all his Hellions, he's still building Hellions. The more Hellions you build, the more mineral investment it costs. The more minerals you spend, the slower your barracks are, the slower your bio transition is, the slower your third base would be. All of these things cost a lot of minerals, so if you're still building Hellions, it slows it all down. So it just feels keep a couple extra Hellions alive, don't have to build a couple extra, just to make sure that you're safe from a counterattack. And then you'd be in a much better spot just straight away. Obviously that doesn't happen, and so ByuN just once again feels like he's in some trouble. Double Banshee will look to do some work, though, pushing forwards. If they can find, what do they need? 10-ish workers would kind of bring it to a 10-worker difference. And we're going to start by going for some creep tumors down. There's an Overseer already here. The Queens will know about the Banshees. It seems unlikely that they're going to start getting the damage done that I was at least suggesting, so already not exactly a brilliant scenario, as Hellions are morphed in as Hellbats on the right-hand side, picking away at this hatchery as well. Push through. Queen going to take a little bit of damage. Creep spread still coming forward as well, so creep spread continuing to move on out. Just going to be seeing our 1-1 upgrades still coming through. Lings and Banes still coming up. Melee upgrades. Overlord speed. A few Hellbats of ByuN will fall back down to the bottom side as the Banshees come in. They get themselves a creep tumor as well. That's really nice to be able to get rid of that straight away. And everything else just gathering up. Ling Bane on the front lines, and a couple of extra Banelings are going to start morphing in there as well. Banshees get turned around. ByuN has a little bit of a army lead, so if there's ever a chance for him to do something, I guess it's with, a bit of a push, getting some damage done, but by the time he gets across the map, he's going to be on, 0-0 against 1-1. I guess maybe he has 1-1 if he waits long enough, but the longer he waits, the worse this gets, so I don't even know if I like this little attack, right? It just feels like, I think he knows he kind of needs to try and get something, or at least feign some kind of pressure. I feel like if this actually breaks into a fight, though, he's going to be in a lot of trouble, and Solar's already moving forward, using his little kind of stretch of creep spread just to get the initiation on the engagement, and yep, the tanks are going to go down, the Marines are going to drop, and, well, what are the medevac's going to save? Not a single unit, so 2 medevacs survive, and that is it. Again, far from the ideal situation. Once again, ByuN's just again wiped. This feels like the last game. Obviously this one's a bit more self-inflicted, but, like the last game, it just feels like Solar bats him away every single time. Solar just keeps breaking him down. ByuN can't get anything going for himself. In the last game, ByuN at least found that moment eventually where he started to, had that really good drop. He started to turn the momentum. He was able to get competitive. Obviously, it's going to be so much tougher to do that on Glitter and Ashes, though. Massive map, loads of bases for the Zerg player to take. Yeah, a lot of space for you to kind of drop around on, but the Zerg is just going to have creep everywhere here as well. And so it's just going to be so hard for you to maneuver, and even if you get rid of one base, the Zerg on this map is likely going to have other bases ready to go anyway. I feel like I'm writing an obituary already for ByuN in this game too, but I genuinely don't really believe it's going to be a long-lived game for him. Hive and Lurgaden on the way up. Absolutely no contest for Solar to do that, so he just puts that down. No problem at all. There's extra Banes moving in the center, rallying forward. The single Zergling is going to go on a little bit of a hunt, but gets shot down by the siege tank, so that gets taken down as well. Just going to try and unload in the corner. A couple of Banes coming through. The Marines load back up into Medivacs again. Marines Hydra's going to try and knock down this set of rocks. He's going to be seeing the Lings and Banes out down the bottom side as well, so I'm going to be also on a little bit of a counter, trying to see just what they can do. And again, I talked about this creep spread being everywhere, and that's just, you know, accelerating as a problem in this game. And there's just creep starting to be even further on the map, passing the halfway marker. These are all problems. Solar maxed out. I talked about, obviously, Hive, Lurgaden. You know, right now he doesn't have any of that in play. He doesn't have his 2-2. That was actually late to start. No Adrenal, no Lurkers, but he's going to start the fight. He's maxed, and he's just going to see if he can deny a 4th phase. That Widow Mine. How did that not go off? I feel like these units were wrapped around it for a minute. Well, this already doesn't look pretty. We're taking down the tanks, the Overseer tanks, the Widow Mine shots. If nothing else, Solar's the one with 90 drones able to rebuild off the back of this, but I don't know if any rebuilding is necessary because ByuN's army's just been wiped. There's only a few Lings and Banes left, and then obviously a majority of Hydras behind, but it's enough to get the GG, and Solar's just going to take this off and away to a 2-0 lead in the best of 5. Solar, just like I say, kind of running away with this game a little bit, running away with this series. ByuN just can't seem to get going in the first few minutes. Third map, Curious Minds, at least, like I say, back to ByuN's map pick. I mean, a long road ahead of you, got to win 3 in a row, but not impossible. Like I say, your map pick to at least get you started here. 2k atmospheres down the line as well, so that's a little bonus as well. It's an okay life. ByuN in the top left, and in the bottom right it's Solar, but also in the middle of the map it's ByuN, because he's going to proxy rack, so down 0-2. Going to crank out the proxy barracks and just see what he can bring to the table. Overlord's going to scout this though, so first barracks already gets seen, second barracks gets seen, so Solar knows, and soon enough that he can send some drones forward to try and at least harass these SCVs and slow that down. So that's exactly what he begins to do. Just getting that pulled in, and away we go. As the drones come, they're going to get themselves a little nibble, but this is, I mean, nowadays you've got to build your proxy racks up against a wall to stop stuff like this and to minimize the damage you take. There's just no other way to really play it. 4 drones here. As the first Marine finishes, you're actually going to have maybe a little bit of a problem. Where does this rally to? Can that actually fit behind the barracks? I feel like ByuN doesn't know himself where he wants to put it. He's going to try and put it out behind the barracks. Okay, it does just fit behind the barracks. That means they can at least stand here, and the drones can't, of course, hit it, and it protects... Well, it doesn't really protect anything. It just protects itself more than anything else. That's just going to see the racks. They're lifting up. That was not the right racks to get this Marine freed, though, so that's a little bit of lost building time. It's this racks that needs to lift. The Marine gets out. Barracks goes straight back down. And now the 2 racks rush begins against the Zerg, who is obviously fairly well prepared for it mentally, knows that this is coming. 10 Lings start to build, and the main goal is, of course, to stop this bunker getting up. If that bunker gets up, you're in a bit more trouble, because that's much more investment to then get rid of it with Marines inside. So you're going to pull the drones as the Lings pop out, and again, you send a couple of Lings onto the SCV, typically to stop the bunker building, make sure that never finishes, while you just chase these Marines away. It's a very typical defense of the 2 racks so far, but ByuN's making a good job of getting drone kills at least. He gets 3 workers so far. And he's got Marines left over, and definitely not the worst trade we've ever seen when it comes to 2 racks or so. It's not terrible. Playable for sure. I don't mind that at all. The cleaning bot really deserved to die on top of that, though. I don't think the cleaning bot had to go down. I don't think that was necessary, but alas, cleaning bot has died. Next speed still coming up. Starport building from ByuN in the main base. The factory is setting up into a reactor, and the barracks obviously just heading home. These Marines still want more damage. They're going to try and dive through for Queen. They do get the Lings. Obviously, Queen has the creep to pull back on, and a few drones actually have to pull in to protect the queen, so you may lose another drone or two. Oh, the queen's actually running out of space to run away. These few marines actually doing way better than I thought they'd be able to, as they keep it going. Queen's still fighting. Oh, one queen's super low, just pushed back now, will not be able to do much else. Just going to see the Lings coming down to chase those marines as well. Queen's still going for this. Marines still dropping. It looks as though that is going to be a cleanup on that army of ByuN. Well, still nice though, because I mean, it forced some drones to pull off the mineral line. Resources lost here early is even, and you can see that ByuN has typically had the income lead because he's been forcing drones to pull away from the mineral lines of Solar. So, you know, all said and done, this is actually not too bad of a 2-Rex. He's got his orbital up, pretty much equal workers. Yeah, I mean, honestly, really not too bad of a 2-Rex. It turns out to be okay, and ByuN's start to this game is actually going to be decent. So, a decent start, and we'll see what happens next. Obviously, Overlord wants to try and get into Scout, but that's denied immediately by the Viking. What did it actually manage to see, though? It saw its spinning tech lab, and the starport was here, so pretty much knows that's Stim. What else could it be, right? Like Blue Flame? Yeah, you pretty much know that that's going to be Stim most likely, so you have a rough timing on Stim at least being built. Viking out on the right side. Link just running around, a couple queens moving forward. Viking still taking a bit of damage as the Overlord will continue to take some shots as well. It's not going to be able to kill that off as we just have the OV taking some hits, and a couple of Hellions still moving them way around in the center. Yeah, just moving back to the middle of the map right now. Hellions moving up, and the Ling's taking a bit of damage as the drones will continue to move forward, and just seeing our Queen's pushing the Hellions out over that right-hand side. So again, little bits of damage being done, Stimpack building up on the racks, and the Marines and tanks still producing. As the reactor will finish on the starport. So again, that starport finish command center about to complete. Oh, no, sorry, not complete, but about to start up over here. He's going to go pushing through and just going to be seeing the Queens taking some damage. Liberator, nice little bit of harass. Like, honestly, I mean, talk about the series as a whole, and this game 3 has been the way to play, right? I mean, finally for ByuN, it feels like he's gotten into a rhythm. He's gotten some damage. It feels like even if the position in the game is fairly even, I actually think ByuN's actually maybe in a little lead. Even if it's even, it just feels like ByuN at least feels good about how things are going, right? It feels like his units can do damage. It feels like his attacks are meaningful. They're not just getting whacked away and not allowed to do anything. It just feels like a completely different series to the other 2 games so far. Now, Solar is going to play Roaches. We mentioned at the start that he played a lot of Roaches against Clem. There's going to be Roaches here against ByuN, and Curious Minds, one of the shorter maps, a fairly wide open third base to attack into with Roaches as well. Typically the kind of things you want to be, making use of when you've got the Roach Ravager force. Specifically, he does start Evo Chambers for 1-1, but that's not going to sync up with the Roach speed, so I do wonder what the exact timing plan here is from Solar. It's a long time to wait for 1-1. I feel like he might just hit Roach speed and then just go, and he'll have 1-1 behind it, but then just not for the initial attack. But yeah, I'm kind of intrigued what the plan becomes. Marines on low, a couple of Roaches getting chased down, getting picked up pretty much straight away. These drones getting killed, and all workers already dropping. The Roaches getting picked up as well, and the medevacs just loading up the Marines, escaping out of there, and for the moment, we're just being able to unload over only 6 o'clock position. Overseer, then you get killed. That's going to go down. Couple of corrosive bars landing, but the medevac's just about able to dart away without too much of an issue. So, medevac's dodging out of there, missile upgrades and carapace upgrades continuing through. And yeah, 1-1, armory, all of that from ByuN is on the way up as well at the moment. So we continue to build into it all, and these couple of medevacs were for a moment going to head into the main base. Just for the moment now, though, deciding not to go for it. Seems we're going to hit that medevac. Everything else will roll back around to the top sides. The Marines, the medevacs, making their way up over here. Get up towards that topside watchtower, and just going to be seeing a couple of Ravagers morphing in. The infestation pit is about halfway done, and just going to be seeing our Marines pull back away, trying to get out of there. Concussive shells on the way up, and a couple extra Marauders just in production as well. We are going to go try and fight through this third base. In the end, we do finish 1-1 before we ever get aggressive, but I mean, this was never meant as a timing. Solar went to 78 workers, he didn't cut workers. You know, this was built up as just, hey, I want to get a Roach army on the map and then play my Roach army into a Ling Bane follow-up. Now, you know, we can now see melee upgrades, Balin speed on the way through. I'm just trying to drop on the bottom, not finding much success over there, but I mean, he's well set up to stop this Roach Ravager doing anything, so it shouldn't be any, you know, Solar shouldn't be able to make any progress for the near future at least. ByuN's able to start a fourth base too, so honestly, across the board, I still don't mind it for ByuN. It'll be interesting to see what Solar prioritizes off the Hive. I suppose probably Vipers and Adrenal Glands, right? Vipers are just a necessity against this amount of siege tanks, so we go into some Vipers. I'm just trying to think if he wants to drop an Ultra Cavern as well. I'm like coming and harring over it in my head. Because obviously he's not in a Hydra Den, so if he goes Lurkers, he's going to go Hydra Den pretty late, so it's going to be very late, or very slow transition to Lurkers. So he could go Ultras, the melee upgrade starts to come through, right, and they transition much more quickly. That might be the plan. There's a lot of open space on this map, so there's a lot of chances for the Ultras to come in from good surrounds and to get good wraparound stuff like that. Definitely helps out a lot as a couple of dronies do get killed, roasted somewhere. I think it's just the tail end of a drop that gets some damage done. Tanks still sieging, Bioforce still spreading up around the top. He actually leaves these tanks kind of exposed. Solar's going to jump on this. Well, the tanks on the top side aren't sieged up at all, and Corrosive Bars are going to at least damage them before they get a lot of shots off. I didn't mind that fight at all for Solar, especially because he just resets the tank count quite heavily, and the tanks are one of the big things. We are indeed going into that Ultra Cavern as well, so yep, Vipers, Ultras, that's going to be his next step, and I feel like with this fight, what he's been able to do is he's going to make ByuN question getting aggressive. Now, actually, this is exactly when ByuN would want to fight, because Solar's about to make an investment into Ultras that aren't going to be ready for a while. Titan's plane isn't on the map. All his money is going somewhere that's not currently going to be useful. And now, ByuN's like, well, I just lost a bunch of tanks, I'm not as powerful as I was. And even if he could make a decent fight of it, I think even just mentally, he's not as convinced about going out and fighting. He scans top right, he sees that this base is over here, and it really feels like Solar is just once again starting to get all over ByuN. ByuN just can't really get established at all. His tank goes down, these few Lings being picked away at. He's going to push through, and there's a couple Lings on the siege tank there, which are going to get turned around and pushed away as well. Lings, Ravagers, Banes. All of this coming back along and just going to start nibbling away at this set of rocks. So just trying to knock that down as well. Open up that. As you do see this little Bioforce of ByuN. Going to move through into the top right corner and actually going to go in after a whole bunch of drones. So quite a few drones going down as our Lings continue to run on in. We on the left side now going to go forward with the Bioforce as well. A lot of creep spread being cleaned out. Again, just these little counterattacks from Solar clearing up. I mean, that base is an orbital. ByuN has been doing this a lot lately, trying to play the quad orbital rather than a fourth base as a planetary. Obviously, just on maps he really believes he can get away with it on, but yeah, it obviously gives you a bit of an extra few scans, a bit of a boosted eco with the extra mules. It is at, you know, it is at a risk. It's a danger to do that, so I've got to be cautious about it as we set up here. Bioforce pushing in, getting rid of a few units. I mean, ByuN's just never had a larger push. He's pretty much always been sat back. And okay, initially against Roaches, you don't want to be the one pushing. And again, I think it was just this first fight that happened over here. That was when ByuN wanted to start pushing, but then he got stopped. And he's like, oh, well, now I don't. But now Solar's got the Ultras out, and he's very much so set up to take a bunch of fights for himself that he seems to really like. He's obviously only got creep for so far on this side, right? He doesn't have creep endlessly, so ByuN's kind of lurking on the edge of creep to make something happen with it. This fight's all going to be on from one direction as Solar, but he has blinding clouds across every single tank. Now he splits back away to come around the other side as well. That should help a lot, and again, the blinding clouds were just brilliant. They really enabled the units to get in here without taking any splash damage at all. I'm going to chase all the way down to the low ground. Some Lings peeled away to remove this mineral line from contention. And Corrosive Vial is currently just dropping down, clearing out tanks. I mean, it looks like these Ravagers aren't going to be stopped. They still got an Ultra in the front to kind of protect them. Okay, they're going to make use of that Ultra to get it back away now as well. But 25 dead SCVs. This mineral line is wiped. And it looks like Solar might just be golden for a 3-0 and a trip straight to the grand finals of the WardiTV Winter Championship. Lings continuing to drop off. The Bioforce clearing up. Yeah, I mean, this is just a save on the orbital at least. But, I mean, that's the least of Solar's worries. The fact his Lings got cleaned up over here. He is maxed out, ready to go again. Not even anything really caught in production. An Ultra and a few Lings still coming up, but yeah, he's got a bunch of Ultras already on the map and set to go, so he's just going to fire away, and I'm pretty sure just launch himself at ByuN once again, because ByuN has not had the rebuild potential that Solar's had. And in we go. Corrosive Vials will get rid of the tank. Ultras are leading the charge. This orbital command is not going to help anything. A couple of ghosts that are not going to get a chance to even try and line up a snipe, and that's going to be GG from ByuN. Solar does indeed find the 3-0 in this series. Convincing, clean, just never really in trouble or danger at all. Very, very good stuff here from Solar in game number 3 and game number 2 and game number 1. He played a great CVT. Don't think there's anything else to really be said about that. That would be it. That would be our winner bracket finals. Solar goes to the grand finals. He is just so freaking good in these tournaments that I run. He's won like so many of my events in the last... I honestly think he's won everything apart from like one tournament in like the past like 4 months or something that I ran. And that one tournament was like a one-day cup. Solar, man.